If you mess with the Mexico Bull, then you're going to get the Mexico horns. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing. That's exactly what Ralf Schumacher has received. He was saying some critical stuff about Sergio Perez, and then Sergio Perez's father has come to the rescue of his son with a scathing attack on the former F1 driver, bringing up his sexuality into the conversation, talking about how Schumacher came out the closet and maybe that he is in love with his son Checo. So Ralf Schumacher's been pretty vocal about his criticism of Sergio Perez and his belief that he no longer deserves that Red Bull drive. And you know what, I can definitely see where Ralf Schumacher is coming from, but one man that isn't seeing that is Sergio Perez's own father. So Anthony Perez responded, and this is what he said about Ralf Schumacher on the Spanish version of ESPN Racing Podcast. He said, quote, "There's one driver or journalist who used to be in Formula One saying Checo had been kicked out of Red Bull. Then the next week he came out of the closet. I don't know, maybe he's in love with Checo. You understand, right? A lot of strange things are happening. You don't know anymore if he's a journalist, a woman, or a man. But even his words are questionable. Not even because of Checo, but because of what his ex-wife said about him." End of quote. So, not holding back here, bringing up Schumacher's sexuality and the fact that Schumacher traded in his wife for a young toy boy. And I believe that Schumacher's ex-wife has said some questionable stuff about him, and the fact that he's a liar, and that's what his Perez Sr. is, pointing towards there. He also then brought up the comparison that's been made between Lance Stroll and Perez. People saying that Perez is similar to Stroll. They're both pay drivers, and that's the reason they're on the grid. Antonio Perez said about this, quote, "I am not Mr. Stroll. I do not have the money to buy a Formula One team for my son, nor do we have the capital to be there like that. Checo is there for himself. He arrived for himself. He is there for himself, and the position he has is for himself. We all know F1 teams need sponsors. They need the support of the country. Right now, Checo Perez is the most well-known person in the country. He has made a great revolution in the world and in Latin America. He has earned his status." End of quote. So you got Antonio Perez here saying that he's not the one fronting the money. He can't afford to purchase an F1 team just to get his son a drive, and he believes that his son earned his seat at Red Bull, but he has admitted that you need sponsors, and the fact that Perez is so popular and the fact that he is so well known in his country and in Latin America, that is contributing to him still being in such a good drive on the Formula One grid. And you know what, I've got to agree with that. I think Perez did earn his Red Bull drive. I mean, although I've not rated Perez over the past few seasons, we can't forget about the work that he did at Sauber, the work that he did at Force India. You know, he had some really good drives there, or Racing Point as they later became. His first couple of seasons at Red Bull, he was pretty decent. Even the season where Max Verstappen wins his first title, that was basically down to Sergio Perez and his defending of Lewis Hamilton. So, I mean, look, Perez, I think, has been a good driver in Formula One, and I think he earned that Red Bull seat. The problem is, the past 2 seasons, he has been nothing short of diabolical, and he's not putting in the performances, and he's not getting the results that is required of a number 2 driver. So for me, the guy doesn't deserve to be in that seat anymore. He earned the seat once upon a time, but he is no longer earning that seat based on his performances and his results. And honestly, man, I don't think he can do enough in my eyes. There's nothing he can do to earn that seat for next season. He would need to win like the last 4 races, in my opinion, to even have a chance of keeping this seat. I think it's done. It should be over. He hasn't been good enough now for 2 full seasons. He's almost 300 points, I believe, behind Verstappen. It's insane. He's no longer good enough for that seat. He had his chance. He's won a few races. Good for him. But I think he should be replaced at the end of the season by somebody else, someone capable of at least getting closer to Max and at least finishing on the podium. Perez hasn't been on the podium since April. I mean, I can't even remember the last time he got a sniff of a podium. It's been a really long time, and it's been too long for, you know, a driver in a Red Bull car. So that's it, guys. Antonio Perez coming out, defending the sun, attacking Ralf Schumacher. But I do agree that I think Perez's time is up. Maybe not in F1, but I think it's definitely up at Red Bull, because there's younger drivers out there, there's hungrier drivers out there, and there's better performing drivers out there that are more worthy of that seat. But let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Been Fog Racing, thanks for watching, and peace.